Another week? Are we already down another week? Voice is coming back. You saw my report a couple days ago. I don't know why I started losing my voice. Maybe a summertime cold. Could be the haze. Probably not, but who knows. But that haze is finally gone. It's Sunday afternoon. It is hot. It is sticky. I'm sitting in my garage and it's borderline sauna. So, gonna knock this video out, go drink another bottle of water, and get after it. So that is a key thing this last week. Hydrate. The heat index, the UV index is at like a 9, 9.5. I think it goes to 11. Don't quote me on that, but when we get to this level, it's pretty hot. This is the time of year, or the conditions I should say, where you honestly want to limit your exposure to being outside all day long. Now, it doesn't mean there's not things you can do from a safety perspective. Not to get on a rant here. Hydration, sun protection, right? I like to actually get out in the wind a little bit. You know, it feels better on your body. Take a dip, jump in the water, put on your swimsuit, things like that. Fish during sunrise, sunset, lower light period. So it's torching out there. It's hot. It is warm. Anyone that's been in the water the last few days knows exactly what I'm talking about. You just sweat no matter what. So lots of bottles of water. Keep it on cold ice. Bring some Gatorade. Bring some food. Food is important as well, not just hydration. Put some food and nutrition in your body as you're fishing. Okay, that rant over. It's hot. Okay, everyone gets that. So it looks like this next week, though, 70s for highs. Once we get this little blip of warmness through, it's going to be pretty darn nice midweek next week through next weekend into the 70s for highs. It's going to feel awesome. So what happened this past week? We saw it all. The Denny's was last Monday. Some teams did very well. With 23.5 pounds win it. That's an awesome bag I'm in a tonk right now. 6 fish. That's a 6-fish tournament. Tomorrow is the Thorne Brothers Classic. 5-fish tournament. Regardless, if you get a 4-pound average, if you get 20 pounds tomorrow for any of the teams out there, you're doing pretty good. My prediction is going to be right around that 21 pounds is going to win it. So someone's going to have a 4-pound average with that nice kicker. That's kind of what we're seeing. Those are really good quality fish. So for all the teams that fished the Denny's last week and did well and cracked, honestly, we had a bunch of teams over 21. Good job. That is kind of the Tonka beast right now, is to find those upper 3 to 4 pound fish. And a bunch of you did it, so nicely done. So the weather this last week, oh boy, starting with the Denny's, we dodged hail, we dodged lightning. We had that all week. We had rain, we had hot sun, like we've talked about. We've had all the ups and downs. Now, what we've seen here recently is stability, and we've talked about that term for years on this weekly update. Stability is important. You get stable conditions and the fishing kind of gets stable. You get rain to hot to this to this to this to that, and the fish sometimes don't know what way's up and down. That's where you have to continue to find a pattern. Now, the last few days, we've had stable conditions. We've seen consistent fishing. We've seen consistent patterns. The fish are doing some of the similar things every day. And I would anticipate us to see some stable stuff this next week, even though we have temps dropping into the highs for 70s. That's not really a rapid cold front. We had a rapid cold front a week back where it went from 90 to 50, right? So that's a huge cold front, change in conditions. This next week, it's going to be very comfortable. So I'm excited for that. So this last week, what did we see? You know, I predominantly hit the water. We were on the water every day, chasing bass. Really, honestly, just going fishing. Chasing bass is our target species. We picked up a couple walleyes, again, like last week. I'll be honest, byproduct. Picked up a bunch of northern pike. They're chomping all over the place. One thing I noticed this last few days is I've preached the Ned rig, right? The Ned rig is just a do-all bait. You can still chuck deadly Nedley and catch a whole bunch of fish right now. But I've noticed that a lot of these fish, better sized fish, are in relatively the same orientation of where I put my boat and how I'm casting, but I'm just going in another 20 yards. So instead of casting into, I don't know, 10 to 16 feet, 18 feet of water, sitting out in 20s, I'm moving in just a tinge and I'm catching a lot of fish in 8 to 12. And I think that's the heat. I think that's a number of different things, but that seems to be where we're catching our fish. Now, I'm not chucking the Ned anymore. We're switching to a full jig worm, and not just a ribbon tail worm. We're actually throwing full-bodied jig worm heads, like the Mighty Head from All Terrain. If you can find some of these, gobble them up. They're going to be done. They're going to be gone. Find some of these, gobble them up. Outcast makes a jig head just like this. A ton of brands make a jig head. It's basically, instead of a Ned head, flat top, short shank. It's more of your standard round head. They come in a variation of head styles, but it's going to be more of your jig worm head, longer shank hook, because you're using a longer plastic, whether it's a 6, 7, 8 inch ribbon tail worm. But for us, it's been a full Kamita, a full Senko. This has been our big fish bite bait for about 4 days in a row now. And I'll show you what we're doing. I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm being sarcastic. It's super, super simple. I'm taking a full Kamita. Mr. Twister now has the Kamita SI, salt impregnated. You can use a Senko, you can use a Yum Dinger, you can use all of the above. And I'm taking that full shank jig worm head. Again, this is where I said I'm going to blow your mind, sarcastically. I'm just threading that entire plastic onto that jig head. Now this gives me faster fall. This gives me bigger profile. This gives me more erratic action. I can snap this, I can swim this, I can lay it down on the bottom of the water, I can swim it, I can throw it along deeper weed stalks and give it profile on the way down. This bait right here on a spinning rod, we're using 20-pound braid. I've even gone up to 30-pound braid on some of my clients' rods. Medium, I even use medium heavy action spinning rods because we're really kind of popping it through those weeds. And then I put on my fluorocarbon leader, might even beef that up to 12 pounds. So our most dominant rod setup was a 20 or 30-pound braid spinning rod, 3000 series Shimano, and a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. So that's a pretty heavy leader, but I'm throwing this right into the weeds. That is, yes, an exposed hook. I totally get it. People ask me all the time on social media, exposed hook, really? Well, ask any one of my clients the last 3-4 days. You do snag weeds. It is a part of the game. You're gonna kind of snag a weed once in a while, but that braid, that heavier fluorocarbon leader, and I'm not doing a 4-foot leader. I'm going down to a 2-foot leader. I'm eliminating almost all the stretch. Heavier rod, not a whippy medium light action rod. Heavier rod, popping it through those weeds, putting your rod tip back down, and that's getting us all of our big bites right now. Now, could you come through there with a flipping rod, a bait caster? Absolutely, and a lot of guys and gals will do that. A lot of my clients were fishing a spinning rod setup, so that's an easy way to do it. You can also throw parallel in 15, 16, 17, 18 feet of water if you want with this setup. You can throw up into the junk, you can skip around a dock. Very versatile presentation. So we tie that on there. Once again, you see I've been fishing a chartreuse head, contrasting body. This is a baby bass. We haven't used this color a ton, to be honest. We've been using more watermelons, green pumpkins, California 420s, camos, darker profile, but for the video's sake, you get the concept. This has not been our go-to color. Something a little darker than this. Even pumpkin pepper was hot. Looks just like a big old long night crawler. But that's been the presentation that's been getting bit the most on our bigger largemouth bass. So that's what we're looking for. The northern pike anglers, you're catching a bunch of them trolling cranks on the outside weed lines. Super fun way to fish. Get your trolling motor in gear, 2 to 4 miles an hour, pulling crankbaits. You're catching a lot of northern pike. The bites seem to be pretty good. They're chomping on the outside weed lines. If you take this bait a lot of times, and we're throwing in, and somebody does one of these and throws out here, doink, zzz, pop. That's where we go through a few more jig heads than I'd like to, but it's a part of the game. We've caught some nice pike on these as well. Generally speaking, on the weed line. Bass, up inside the weed line. So that's what's going on. So water temps, 80. It's 80-degree water temps when we leave every day the last few days. If not 81, 81 and a half, 82. It's warm. Like I said, put on the swimsuit, take a dip, cool off. Good time of year to do that. Lake life is alive and well. It is hopping on Lake Minnetonka, as I'm sure every other lake, but that's where I've pretty much been living this whole week. And this is where I'll be all this next week. So lake life is alive and well. People are out there enjoying it. They're ripping around, they're skiing, they're tubing. Sailboats were in full force on Friday all over Wayzata and Main Lake, ripping around. Not really ripping around in a sailboat. You get my point. but a lot of things happening. Be courteous, be respectful. The boat launches are going to be busy. This time of year, they're busy. We didn't get a lot of time on the water this week if you love lake life because we had a lot of rain and conditions. Now we have some good weather ahead. So be respectful, be courteous. Just nod, turn the other cheek if something happens you don't like, and move along. That's just kind of my 2 cents. So get out there, have a good time. Good luck to all the teams competing tomorrow in the Thorne Bros Classic. I'll be emceeing the weigh-in. I believe it starts at 2:30 live on the Thorne Bros Facebook page, and we'll see who brings home $15,000. So good luck to everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you in 7 days.